We are in the midst of Linux World here in San Francisco. A lot is happening this year. Most surprising, an announcement from the Linux delegation of Beijing, China. Here to tell us about their announcement are two members of that delegation, the Vice Chief Engineer for China National Computer Software and Technology Service Corporation, Han Naiping, and the Senior Vice President for Red Flag Linux Software, Zhao Siyao Liang. I hope I said those correctly. Okay, so gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the Screensavers. What was the announcement your group made today?
Yeah, we announced our Yangfan Linux in the morning because the Yangfan is very important for us. That's a contribution from China to Linux community, and we also will public the source code to the worldwide Linux community.
So Yangfan is a Linux distribution coded in China, primarily in Beijing.
Yeah.
And has been open sourced, has been GPL to the rest of the world.
Yes, it is supported by government, Chinese government, and were used in the government office.
Okay. So, Project Yangfan. Yangfan?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Yangfan.
That means read the sail.
Okay.
Sail.
Oh, like a sailboat.
Yeah.
Got it. So what sort of improvements in the code did you make in the Linux code for Project Yangfan?
Well, the main purpose of the Yangfan project is to improve the usability of the Linux. As everyone knows that Linux was not very familiar as Windows now, and a lot of not IT users, they don't quite accustomed to the Linux. Right. They have to remember a lot of command lines to manage the computer, to use the computer. And we do a lot of work to modify the ease of use.
So I noticed you showed me before the show things that make Linux seem more familiar to Windows users.
Yes.
Linux is on the rise in China?
Linux is increasing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fast.
Should we show the control panel, some of the improvements?
As you see, here is a control panel, just like a Windows.
Mm-hmm.
And here you can configure the network.
This is nice. It's actually amazing. For Linux users, it's unusual to see such Windows-style icons in there.
Mm-hmm.
A great display control panel.
Yeah, actually the control panel is an integrated point for user to configure the computer, to use the Linux. But before, everybody should use command line to configure everything.
Nothing worse than using a command line to change your screen resolution. How about there's a new email program you developed?
The email tools is just using evolution. Just look at the Outlook. It can adapting the email of the Microsoft Outlook. Yeah.
So people can move their Outlook, their PST file into this Linux application?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can go on.
Oops. Did we lock up?
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know that internationally computers are tough as used in China as they are in the United States. Well, I'll tell you what, is this the first GPL contribution or the first code from China that's been open sourced under the GPL?
No, actually a lot of Linux vendor distributor in China follow the GPL rule. So this is not the first time, but what's important is because this project is supported by government and were used in government. So,
is that a very new trend in China?
Yes. A lot of enterprise and the government were used or plan to use Linux in their system.
And there are some other versions Linux that open source and by the company. But this time, Yangfan project is aliens by the government company and the other open source community.
Was it 118 developers, all from different companies, worked on this project?
Yeah, so more than 100 developers involved in this project. these developers come from Linux company and come from university and come from some research institute.
Will this make computers more affordable in China? Will computers be sold with Yangfan Linux on it? Will it make it less expensive for computing in China?
Yeah, this kind of product, like Linux product, is a little cheaper because, like Yangfan product, we just there's a two version. One is Reflag version and one is a courses version. Yeah, so it's only costs about 100 RMB. That means it's about 20 15 US dollars.
That's pretty
so
cheap.
It's cheaper than other operating system.
Sure, and it includes the Office applications, the operating system. Most people in China, do they use computers at home? Do they use them at work, at school, or everywhere?
Yeah, it's depending on the situation. Some people use the computer and access internet in their company or the office, and some is in home, and some students access the internet in the internet cafe.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's the next step for China in Linux? It's on the growth. What's coming next?
By Yangfan project, although the Linux desktop has improved a lot, but there's still a lot of work to do. Compared to the Windows, the ease of use are not so good than Windows. So we have to work more to make it more perfect. And also, the Linux was growth in China for several years. And as China is more open, we hope we can communicate more with the Linux world all over the world, and to communicate more, to contribute more, and to do more work.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. To learn more about how China is embracing open source software and hardware, check out our article at thescreensavers.com.